I've owned JEPI for a little over a year now, and when it comes to dividend ETFs, I'd have to say it's probably one of my favorites. So with that being said, I wanted to add just $1,000 into this ETF and go over how much I'll be making each month in dividends with this much invested. And I know $1,000 isn't a significant amount, but it's realistic and it's a pretty good start, especially when you're wanting to create the dividend snowball effect. I might even make this into a little series as well. So for example, my next video in the series would be adding $5,000 into JEPI, and then for the next one, $10,000, and so on. So if that's something you'd be interested in seeing, let me know by leaving a like on this video. That way I can see if it's worth it to make more videos like this. For those of you who don't know, JEPI is a monthly income ETF from JP Chase, and it's an actively managed fund that generates its income by selling covered call options. And they're selling these options on large cap stocks in the S&P 500. And some of those stocks include AbbVie, Coca-Cola, and Microsoft. Just kind of those blue chip stocks that aren't super volatile, but still pay a consistent dividend. It was launched back in May of 2020, so there's not too much data on its past performance, but since it was launched, it's still performed pretty well for a dividend ETF. When it comes to its share price, it really just tracks what the market does with fairly low volatility, so it's pretty boring when it comes to growth. But it still pays that 10 to 12% dividend every year, and you get that nice dividend paycheck every month. And that's a huge reason why I really like this ETF, because there's not really anything better than getting paid out monthly for your investment and receiving passive income because of it. So I'm going to pull up my JEPI position here, and like I mentioned earlier, I've owned this fund for about a year now, but I only had about $700 or so invested for that year. And as of a few days ago, I added about 6 more shares to make it a total of just over $1,000, as you can see. And what I have been getting in dividends each month with that initial $700 is right around $7.45 or 57 cents per share, which means last year I made a total of about $90 in dividends just from JEPI with that small position. And then with the additional shares that I added that make my investment now $1,000, going forward and assuming the dividend stays consistent, I'll be making just over $10.50 a month, which obviously isn't life-changing. I can't retire off $10 a month, but it's really a good start, and it's something I can build up as time goes on. I think a good first step too is getting to the point where you're receiving enough in dividends so that it can essentially pay for one share each month. So in this case, since the share price is at around $55, the goal there would be around $50, $60 a month in dividends. That way, no matter how much of your own money you're investing into JEPI, you're still basically getting a free share each month if you're reinvesting the dividends. So hopefully this year I can increase that position size to $5,000 plus and start getting those a little bit higher monthly dividend paychecks. Another monthly dividend ETF that I've owned for a while is SPHD, but it's definitely a lot more boring than JEPI. It only grows at an average of about 4% a year, but that's not including its 4.5% dividend, so you're averaging about 8 or 9% a year total with SPHD. And my position in SPHD is a little bit bigger than my JEPI position. I currently own about 33 shares, but I'm getting a lot less in dividends each month compared to JEPI. Getting just under $5 a month in dividends, as you can see. But the reason why I like this ETF a lot is because it's really safe and low volatility, and I can always count on getting paid every month, even though it's not very much. So it's definitely on the safer, low risk side. So I think these two ETFs together can be a powerhouse in a dividend portfolio. And I'm especially excited about building a bigger position in JEPI and receiving that monthly cash flow. And one of the best things about receiving dividends every month is you have that freedom to do whatever you want with the cash. You can reinvest it back into the same funds, or you can move that cash into other ETFs or stocks and structure your portfolio the way that you want. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think of JEPI, if you're investing in it, how many shares you have, or if you're staying away. As always, I would love to have a discussion there. Otherwise, I will catch you next time. See ya.